here again for another day in Bronie's world, and it's Super Saturday. And I have one of my most famous, gorgeous friends and favorite one of my favorite superheroes that I have from time to time. We're trying to have Dr. Lisa here at least once a month on my Super Saturday gig because I love her. And she's going through an amazing journey, health journey herself. And so I wanted to keep progressing with her so that you can see how important it is to realize we don't have quick fixes. If someone offers you quick fixes to fixing your health, it's a progress. You took years to get into that bad state, so it's going to take a little while to get your health back. And if you're not prepared to follow the protocols to do that, like getting rid of the bad foods, it's going to take you even longer, and you're flogging a dead horse. So I have been loving Dr. Lisa's journey that she discovered when she saw her bloods under a microscope in full bloom in her living room on the big TV. And she said, well, I need to do something about that. So she's been doing that. She's been on that journey for what, 3 or 4 months, maybe longer. And
longer.
So we need a progress report. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Lisa, and she can explain a little bit more because you may have forgotten those ones.
Hey, Bronie. Thank you so much, Bronwyn. I love you. I love being here with you. And just thank you for giving me an opportunity to share with your amazing people my journey. So yes, I had some friends who did a live blood analysis, and they actually came to my home and set up a huge microscope and monitor and everything. And so I am going to share my screen because I have a little bit of of some slides. And I don't know how to make it bigger without, hold
on. Press the shows.
Okay.
There you go.
So this was last August.
Wow, was it that long ago?
Yes, when I had my first analysis. And this is just so bad. This clumping, microclotting, fibers, and these little white areas, that's candida. And so I had a lot of not good going on in my blood. So what I did, I doubled to tripled my water intake.
Good job.
Thank you. So
you know that's my thing, is making sure people are having enough water.
I drink a minimum of 100 ounces a day. Like if I know I'm going out, I'm around 100, let's say 120, a gallon a day, but sometimes it's more like 150 ounces. I increase the pH of my water. So, oh yeah, from that time to this time, I increased the pH of my water. I used to drink, I think it was 8.5 pH, and then I went up to 9.0.
So can you just stop you there? Can you explain what how you mean by increasing the pH? What does the pH? But just for those who are unsure, how do you increase
the word that people might know or might recognize is alkaline water. Now, and there are lots of different ways to treat water, to alkalize water. I have a machine on my counter that does electrolysis on the water, and it makes a few different types of water, but I went from a very small amount of alkalinity, basically, to a little larger amount of alkalinity. It's not the most alkaline that the machine can make, but I used to keep it, very, very low. And the people that came are experts also in the water, and they were like, "Oh no, um, you're not even, you gotta," or actually they looked at me, they're like, "Why? Why do you only have 8.5 when your machine can do all this?" And basically I said, because, and this happens with a lot of people when they start, sometimes it happens when they start nutrition, sometimes it happens when they start water, but the toxins in the cells starts to be released. And if too much is released at one time, your body can't excrete the toxins. It can't, it's just too much for the excretory system. But they were like, no, 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 you've got, and I had been on 8.5 for years, so I wasn't afraid to bump it up to 9.0. But um,
Mhm.
just listening to them, like what I need to do. And I doubled my vitamins and minerals. I tripled my EFAs. I tripled my antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. I tripled my probiotics. I took digestive enzymes on an empty stomach at bedtime. And when I have a real flare up of pain, which, it's all the baseline is all, or the bottom line is all inflammation and
Yeah.
oxidative stress. And there are certain areas in my body where I feel that when it's, really elevated, particularly in my joints.
Yeah.
But I also feel it just in brain fog. Uh, like and I have a friend that, she'll call me and ask me how I'm doing. I'm just like, well, got some inflammation going on today, you know, and she knows what that means to me.
Yeah.
So I add CBD when, you know, every if I'm out of any of the other things, or if I have a flare up of inflammation. And it really helped me. I mean, I was in bad shape the day that I got that first test.
Yeah, you were. You've been in bad shape for a lot of years until you got onto some minerals, but
Absolutely. 6 months later,
yeah, yes.
I lost 22 pounds. Uh, and I did feel
That's
so
awesome in
much.
itself.
Yeah. And I felt so much better. But the question is, will that show in my blood? So they came and pricked my finger again.
Ah,
I had to show my badge of courage. And so this was my blood. Now, this is not really an apples to apples comparison, because the slide on the left is dark field and the slide on the right is light field. So I'm just showing you this to show two things. This clotting, this micro clotting now,
yeah.
uh, bad, bad, bad. Now it's more of, these are called rouleau formations.
Mm-hmm.
So they're stacked and they're sticky, and so I'm not done. I got a lot more work to do, but it's a lot better than this. Like within these micro clots, you can't even sometimes tell one red blood cell from another. They're just clumped together. But
Mm.
here they're more, there's we still don't want this, but they're looser, right? So they're not as clumped, and there are some individual cells starting to float around. So, and
And that's what you want, isn't it?
Oh, I'm going to show you what we want, because we had one person that day that had, I called her the star pupil, but I can see the improvement that I feel in my body, right? So, and this candida, the candida is gone. You know, when you stop eating gluten, uh, that helps. But,
Yeah,
and like I said, on the dark field, you can still see some of these fibers, but it's better. It's much improved. So, still on the journey, still have work to do. The Bible says, "Don't be weary in well doing." So I'm doing well, but I got to do better. What we
yeah.
want is something like this, where all of the
Wow.
cells are free flowing. This was someone that came the same day, and um, you know,
The same day on the first visit back in
no,
August.
the second visit,
Okay.
same day on the second visit. And this is just a made up image of what blood cells, what they should look like. But the point being, they should be free flowing. And
Hmm.
that's because they have very tiny capillaries that they have to be able to fold and get into the capillaries. So, um, you know, I have to tell you, I was hoping it looked a little better, but I was very happy that those microclots are gone, the candida is gone, and the fibrinogen, those fibers, are much improved. So it did encourage me very much to keep going. But I'll tell you, Bronwyn, I might have seen a dozen people's blood on both days, and I was shocked at, I mean, we know people are sick. We
Yeah.
know they're walking around, the walking wounded. People are sick
Mm.
and they don't even know they're sick.
No.
But and they're walking potato chips. They're just dehydrated, like you said.
Mm.
And they have no idea what a difference just hydrating properly, detoxing, and getting their nutrition will make. And it's a little, I I had to be able to really um change my mind, I guess, change my thinking, because people get to choose.
Yeah.
But we want the best for them. We want so much to share what we have with them, and to just a little bit of knowledge, like, and if you just make a few changes, you feel so much better, and you don't know how good you can feel until you hydrate and detoxify and get complete nutrition. It's amazing what a difference that it makes. So uh, I'm still on the path, and I'm very encouraged. So thank you.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I'm so proud of you. You've done such a great job, and just saying, "Oh well, I feel better now," and going, "Stop." No,
No,
it's a lifetime journey. You've got to
absolutely.
keep going, and
On
so
both days, there were only one or two people that had free flowing blood.
mm,
I wish, I mean, it was image after image after image of just sick, thick blood. It was shocking. And
mm,
you can't fake that. You can't fake, that just came out of your body, and okay, this is the way it is. This is the way it looks. So,
yeah, and that's the difference between with what you had done there, them coming to your home. and it instantaneously, you know, it's your blood. You know,
Hmm.
you saw it prick, you saw it go under the microscope. Not, it always worries me what they do with our blood when they send it off in a lab.
Well,
You
actually, I
know,
spent a lot of time in labs, and it's fascinating. It's fascinating when they put it in put the blood test tubes in the centrifuge and spin it down, and you know, pour off the plasma or the serum, depending on what
yeah.
they were looking at and stuff. It was fascinating.
Oh, absolutely, it'd be fascinating. But then you sort of think, are you sure that's my blood you're testing and not someone else's? Have you mixed it up? That's not like it hasn't happened before, but just there's just something different about actually seeing it done right there in front of you. I don't have that capability, but that would fascinate me. Absolutely, it would.
Yeah. Now, what I was
So when
hoping,
I come to visit, you'll have to have the guy
absolutely,
there.
we'll
Don't
track
ask me
them
when that'll
down.
be, but anyway.
We'll track them down. They go all over the world,
Oh,
um,
really?
doing this. Yeah. So, uh, I haven't asked her if they've done it down under, but maybe they'll come to you.
Mm,
Um, but I just can't tell you how stunned I was to see person after person after person after person after person, just with so many problems, chronic problems that absolutely show in the blood. Now, and we had a discussion because we have supplements, they have supplements, and I did add some of their supplements to my regimen. But I talked to her. I said, I know our supplements are amazing, and I take them, but I didn't expect to see such issues in my blood. And some of their supplements, particularly the enzymes, there's some things that they have that uh, we don't have them in exactly the same proportions, the same amounts.
yeah,
We have nattokinase, we have some kinases and things like that, the enzymes that break up those fibrinogen fibers. Um, or the omega-3, omega-6, or the types of omega-3, because there are multiple types of omega-3. And so they would have maybe a different proportion than ours, or, but I said I really wanted to understand the different approaches. And she looked, or they looked at our supplements and they were like, this is good stuff, but we start focusing on the blood. And then,
mm,
now sometimes we start focusing on the gut, right? We
yeah,
also definitely start focusing on the diet. You cannot out supplement a bad diet. I don't care what kind of supplements you take.
that's right.
So, um, you know, I wrote in one of my blog posts, I don't remember which one, but oh, I think it was the first time I did the live blood analysis. I wrote a blog and I put some tips in there that people can do for free that will absolutely change their life, including being gluten free, including hydrating, you know. But if you're going to spend the money, you want to have quality, complete supplements. So, but
That's
it was
right.
it was amazing. It was amazing um, to feel the transformation in myself because I could definitely feel it. And when I opened the door, they were like, they couldn't believe the difference in me just looking at me, just the way I was moving around and things like that. So I was very pleased, and I'm still on the journey, and they'll be back, I think, in May, I think. So stay
Wow,
tuned.
awesome. So you've got there's some more improving, and I'm sure you are, because
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you
And
can only keep getting better if you're on the path and keeping away from those bad foods. That's the
there's
key.
something that we were talking about earlier. You said it took us years to get in this state, right?
That's right.
Now, even at a smaller time frame, a red blood cell, the lifespan of a red blood cell is on average 120 days.
Yeah.
So, like, it takes months for the old bad, it's not good or bad, but the older, stickier blood cells to clear out and
Mm.
for the new, fresh cells to be, um, in. So stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Which is why Dr. Wallach says, give me 90 days. Well, actually, preferably 120 days,
Yeah,
because it takes that time for our bodies to, as you said, clean out the bad blood.
absolutely.
It's the
So,
bad blood that causes lots of health issues, including the big C,
yes,
that I'm not going to say because we all get in trouble, even though it's, right all around the world. And more people are being diagnosed with it all the
yeah,
time. And I think, you clean out your blood cells, and because that's what causes this, the CA, the NCE, that one, um, is bad blood cells.
mhm.
Well, it's one
Well,
of the
yeah,
reasons.
you can
I'm
point
not
to
saying it's the only reason, but yeah,
you can point to just about any chronic disease,
mm,
and it's going to have some connection to the blood,
yeah,
right?
which is why doctors do blood tests all the time.
This is true.
They
But
do it even when you don't feel like you're sick. Maybe
yeah,
they want to see, well, what's hiding in there that you haven't found yet.
sure. I mean, the life of the flesh is in the blood. You can tell uh you can tell so much about a person um with the blood tests that we do. When I say we, doctors, but doctors generally don't look at their patient's blood under the microscope, right?
No,
So,
done in the lab, and they only put on the thing for the lab to test for what they're looking for,
mhm.
instead of, well, you've got my blood, test for everything, don't leave anything out, because I know way too many people who have been misdiagnosed because they didn't even test for that.
Mhm.
And so if the lab's told not, the lab's only tests for what the doctors have asked it to test them to test for. They don't test for everything. And I think that's a mistake, personally.
Well,
That's a bit of a medical error, because they I've known way too many of my friends who have been misdiagnosed for years because they weren't tested for what actually was ailing them.
mhm.
And some of them died
So
because they weren't tested for it.
yeah. Oh, I have friends that happened to as well. Uh,
You tested
that's
for the big
tragic.
C.
It's tragic. But part of it is, how do we divide up the dollar, right?
Yeah, it's all about the dollar, isn't it?
It's
So we do what we can
we
as
do what we can.
as certified holistic health coaches, and you as an MD as well as a certified holistic health coach, and looking at the natural way. We're doing what we can from this end. A bit of my hair just went straight in my face. I got caught in my finger. And So that's what we do. We aren't miracle workers per se or anything like that. We're just helping people to have an alternative to say, okay, I know something's not right. I don't know necessarily what it is. The doctors can't put their finger on it, or they're not prepared to, or whatever. Or you don't want to go to a doctor because some of them you feel you can't trust them anymore. Then start with the one thing you can control: cleaning up your diet. That costs you nothing.
That's right.
Get off all the bad foods. And people say, oh, what am I going to eat? Well, there's plenty of things you can eat. Be creative. Be creative with things. Get whole foods, not processed foods. The processed foods are part of the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
More and more.
that's
You
right.
know,
And supplement, but supplement with quality. You can't just go and get any supplement, because if your supplements don't have the cofactors, you're wasting your money. You're actually doing yourself more damage than good, because you're putting all these fillers in and everything. Whereas, which is, I've heard different ones say, oh, supplements don't work. Well, what type of supplements are you taking?
exactly.
Are you taking ones that you've just got off the shelf in the supermarket or the chemist or wherever? Most of them have been proven, even some big name ones, to be full of fillers
Mm-hmm.
and not absorbable. And even if you're taking the crap ones, if you aren't getting rid of the bad foods, your body can't absorb them anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the little bit of nutrition that might be in there, yeah, you want your body to be able to absorb it. And if your gut is not healthy, then it's not going to function properly. And one of the functions is to find the good stuff that's in there and absorb it. So,
Exactly. It's
yeah,
all about what you absorb.
that's right. They say you are what you eat. Nope. You are
You
what you
are what you
absorb.
absorb.
Good one.
That's right. So, and there's a difference. There is this distinct difference between what you eat and what you absorb. So
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
can
And
elaborate on
then
that if you
when the
like.
gut gets leaky, when there's inflammation, you're absorbing stuff you're not supposed to absorb that starts to trigger your immune system, and you don't absorb the stuff you're supposed to absorb. So you're, it's just a spiral. It's a vicious spiral.
Mm.
So you
And the
want to
best
break
time to
the cycle, cut the gluten, intermittent fasting, uh, low carb slash keto. Keto, some people say keto is a bad word now, but I really believe that it's because, the vast majority of people on keto, or who were on keto and didn't do well, didn't have complete nutrition. They weren't supplementing completely.
mm,
So they didn't have their metabolism couldn't handle the keto regimen, at least in a sustainable way. And it makes all the difference. I look at these studies and I'm like, they're not controlling what the people eat. They're not putting them on a particular diet. They're not giving them, these essential nutrients.
mm.
So uh, you I'm thinking of the Princess Bride. I do not think it means what they think it means. They they come to these conclusions based on their numbers, but without considering what is the nutritional status of their subjects. I don't think the results are valid.
No,
Oft, Oftentimes.
yeah. There's I find a lot of those surveys are done geared to the results they want.
Yeah, definitely.
And if they want it to look like this is a bad thing, then they will gear it that way. They will leave components out that they shouldn't leave out, and that's that's dangerous. You know, you do the survey properly, do the trial properly. You know, you have your obviously you have your control ones, and you have your, you know, ones that are doing exactly, you know, like getting rid of all the bad foods, having their quality supplements, and then you have the groups that aren't, and doing it. Yes, yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, there are some studies that they do control what people eat. I did my undergrad at the University of Maryland College Park, which is very close to Bethesda, which is where NIH is, the National Institutes of Health. So some of the students would make extra money by being subjects in tests at NIH. And they told me some of the things they do. And sometimes they'll put them in, they'll hospitalize them for a week, and they control everything they eat. They measure everything that comes out of them, and so those studies, I would put a little more validity to, because at least they know what's going in and what's coming out, and then they're comparing this drug or that drug. But even then, what was their nutritional status? That's a whole another question. So
it is, and being in an environment like that. Okay, we're going to put you in hospital, right, and control what you eat and don't eat. You've taken out the one element that affects us all, and that's the environment around us.
mm-hmm.
If they're in the hospital setting, that's a sterile place. You're not out there where, where every day things are floating around in the air and you're coming in contact with other people, and the things that are in the air. Yeah, there. So there's a danger in that. Can be a danger if they took them all to a retreat somewhere where they're still outside and they're exercising, not exercising inside, but out in the environment. But then again, people who live in the cities have different health issues to people that live in the country, because of the environment around them, and the environment is just as important.
Absolutely. And getting more and more impactful, the pollution, for instance, the toxins, the availability of fresh food, if there's any nutrition in the food, which means, there may or may not be, depending on the soil.
That's right.
The electromagnetic overwhelm, like I've got this, the screen, and I've got the ring light and the phones and the, like I don't always feel it, but sometimes I can actually feel like, oh no, there's too much, I have to turn something off. It's like,
Yeah, I'm the same. There are days I just turn everything off and walk away. I will do what I have to do, but try and congest it to a short time in front of the screen, and then once that's done, I close it all down and go outside, do something outside. If it's raining, well, I do something else. But you have to have days you walk away, and Dr. Lisa, I do a daily tip every day on my Facebook page, and people say, "Don't you ever take a break?" Well, yeah, but even so, I still do something, even if it's just for a minute, or sometimes I plan to do it only for a minute, and it might extend, but then I'll do that, and then I might even turn my phone completely off and walk away and do it, just like, because I like to be in touch with people, and I like to know that people, because I've had people say to me, you know, when I'm having a down day, I go and look for your daily tip or
Oh,
whatever, just to bring a smile to my face, because sometimes I do silly things. I trying to be more informative instead of just doing silly stuff. But
I love your silly stuff too.
oh dear, I just we were building an extension on our chicken coop. Was it last weekend? Oh, I think it was last weekend. Between helping a friend with red belly back snakes, trying to get her chickens, and you know, helping her to move her chickens and all that sort of stuff. We had to everything in between. And because of how we'd done it, we'd put a bit of fence around, and my husband, so we needed to get inside there, but we couldn't cut through the other bit of chicken pen without the chickens getting out. We had to build this other extension part first.
Okay.
Anyway, so, and because it was too high for us to step over, and the ladder, because of where the bit in the middle goes, you couldn't put the ladder over for us to go up one way and down the other. So my husband put the ladder beside the fence, and he had me climb up on it and wanted me to jump off the top of the ladder into the new chicken coop. Again, I wonder, and I did, and I sort of did a bit of a roll when I jumped down because of the height, sort of trying to, so I didn't hurt myself.
Yeah.
And of course, it's right near tree roots, and anyways. So that was, he said, "Are you all right?" First of all, he laughed, and he said, "Are you all right?" But gee, boy, that was funny. And I was thinking, wish I had a camera. The one time you don't have your camera done, that would have made a funny. That was last Saturday, so that would have made a funny thing that happened. But anyway, didn't have my camera out there that day. I did have it, but I didn't have it. Actually, I think I had my camera in my pocket,
Well,
which is why
kudos
I
to
rolled
you
the way
for
I did.
being
So I had my phone
kudos
in my pocket.
to you for being able to roll like that and jump down. My goodness, girl.
I said, "Well, you wanted me in here. We couldn't. We've now got, because once we secured it and the chickens couldn't get out, we then cut a hole in the other part so they can come through from the other part into the newer part. And we haven't cut it very high because extension's not high, so we have to crawl through that. But at least it's better than jumping over a fence."
The
It would have
life of
made
Bronie.
a great classic funny video, but did we know we were going to do that? No, we did not. So you don't have your camera set up on the stage.
Wow.
And we were trying to hurry because there was a storm on the way. So,
Yeah.
oh, Dr. Lisa,
Amazing. The amazing Bronie. Yeah, I think we need a superhero named Bronwyn.
yes, we do, right? Okay. All right. Well, listen, we've gone off the track of bloods.
True.
I think my husband's blood was boiling that day. Actually, mine was probably boiling, but anyway, that's not the point. I'm the one who did the jumping and everything at his request. He could have jumped in, but I'm the younger of the two, so by 6 years, so I'm
Well,
more flexible.
I'm impressed. I am
Oh dear,
impressed.
the things you do at 64. I I got to kind of remind myself how old I am, because I certainly don't feel it. All right, well, we better call this Saturday come to a close before we go on to all sorts of other different stories here. Anyway, and as I ask everyone nicely to stay safe, stay informed, be empowered, but do not live in fear, my friends. And when you're taking care of your blood, not necessarily jumping fences, but you're just doing the things that you should do, like getting rid of the bad foods and supplementing with quality supplements, then you will see the difference it can do to your blood. And you too will be powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and most definitely very brave. God bless you all. Catch you again tomorrow here in Bronie's World. Oh, wait. If you want to hear more from Dr. Lisa, she's going to be on my at Bronie's desk on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, which I think is the 19th. So it's your 18th there, Dr. Lisa. It'll be your
18th.
Monday. In Eastern Standard Time. So that is 5:30 Pacific Time in the USA. So come and maybe Dr. Lisa will share this same screen topic. I don't know. We're just going to use for a topic. That would be her choice. And then we'll have a Q&A after that. So, and I'll see you all again tomorrow here in Bronie's World. Bye for now. Thank you, Dr. Lisa.
Love you, Bronie.
Love you too.